and privileges because you grew up in my home, but baby girl, maybe you ought to be open to the fact that the possibility that maybe God did all of that for such a time as this. Esther, I know that you are the king's wife, and I know you're wearing your fine clothes. I know that you have people waiting on your hand and feet. And Esther, I am not against you enjoying the finer things in life, but all I'm pleading with you is to tell you that maybe you need to be open to the possibility that maybe it's not just about you wearing fine clothes, maybe not about you having services, but rather it's about God putting you there with a king so you can affect his heart toward the Jewish people. Now watch this, and you Bible readers know that finally Esther opens up to the possibility and accepts the fact that it was the will and the plan of God. And so Esther decides that she would go in and talk to the king on the behalf of the Jewish people. Now I want you to notice again, God working in the background, that while she's on her way to talk to the king, Haman is still making a plot and his plan to destroy the Jewish people. Now I often want to know what Haman had so much against the Jewish people, but then I kept on reading. Here's really what it was. Haman really didn't have a problem with the Jewish folk, but he had a problem with their Jewish leader. Now watch this. Haman is really in particular mad and he hates Mordecai, all because Haman felt that Mordecai didn't give him the kind of respect that he felt that he was due. And so now Haman doesn't simply want to just kill Mordecai, but Haman wants to kill all the Jews. So here Haman is building his gallows. And can I tell you that sometimes we get frightened when we see what our enemies are doing. And sometimes we begin to say, well, Lord, I'm going to try my best and do what you've asked me to do. But in the meantime, why don't you make them tear them gallows down? Well, here's the reason why God said, no, I ain't going to do it. You see, God is saying, well, my people, you are going to need those gallows. We're going to have some gallows, and we're going to need a place to have a hanging, because there's going to be a hanging. But Esther, you need to be worried, and Mordecai, you need to be worried, because there's going to be a hanging. But guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to let Mordecai be my contractor. I'm going to let Mordecai be with the hanging machine that Haman built, because I am and will be working in the background. And don't be worried, because I will even use what the evil people are doing to advance the cause of my people. Lord help me, Jesus. Judgment day is on its way, and I'm not going to have the Jews to be on the gallows, but I'm going to have Haman to have them built himself. And so therefore Esther and Mordecai, the same gallows that Haman had planned to hang you on, Mordecai, I'm going to arrange it to where Haman will be hung on his own gallows. So, therefore, I got to prepare to get out of here. Esther went in and he talked to the king. Now, watch this. Here's the final thing. The plan that Haman had for the destruction of the Jews was thrashed once again. And God did through a young woman by the name of Esther. Let me repeat it again. God can use who he wants. Okay, let me say it again. God can use who he wants. Let me say it one more time. God can use who he wants. Now watch the hand of God in the background. Because the king in return, King Ahasuerus, overrode his decision, overrode Haman's decision. But now watch this, because after the Lord also arranged it so that, now watch what God does. He also arranges it that Haman made what the king was thought what was a pass at his wife Esther, and so therefore the king had sent out and hung Haman on his own gallows. Did y'all just catch that? Let me see if I can put it in lame terms. There are folk who do all they can to plot evil against you. But listen, God keeps saying, quit focusing on what your enemies are trying to do to you, because I'm going to take the very same plot that they had against you and I'm going to turn it around on them. Now Haman working so faithful under Ahasuerus, very close to Ahasuerus, and then the Lord turned around and fixed it to where Ahasuerus caught Haman, which Haman really wasn't doing it, but in Ahasuerus' eyes, that's what he was doing. The Lord said, I'm going to fix it to where, let me get like my wife for a minute. Y'all know this trainer gets it well. Esther got to walking and she was shaking them hips. And while she was shaking them hips, Haman happened to look and Ahasuerus happened to catch on to it. And Ahasuerus said, I done caught this boy checking out my wife. I tell you what, I'm going to have him hung. And listen, we sitting there, we laughing, but look how God worked the plan. Because Haman had planned to kill the Jews and hang them. And God turned right back around, took the very same gallows and hung Haman on it. So, look how God worked. Now let me tell you today, people of God, as I make haste to leave you, always bear in mind, in this walk of life in which we live, that God is always up to something. And even when you don't know what God is doing, always know that God is on your side. Even when it looks like your enemies are winning. Don't ever give up on God. It's always too soon, brothers and sisters, to count God out. It's always too soon to believe that your enemy has the victory over you. Because as long as God is on your side, God can take what seems to be a defeat and turn it into your greatest victory. God can take a situation that looks like you are down and really you're not. Simply because even although you look like you're going down, really you're on an escalator on your way up. And God can take it and move it in a way that you and I can never imagine. Even when it seems that God has forsaken you, but God is just getting you and me ready for where He wants us to be. So please understand today that all that God has given you and me, God has given it to us so you and I can use it for the kingdom. And church folk, let me say this to you, and that is, don't you know that when God gets ready for a church to have a building program, don't you know that God has already started working on that years in advance? Don't you know that the only reason why you got a job with the big refinery, the only reason that you're in the political arena, the only reason that you're in the educational system is not just so that you can be blessed, but God has already started putting tithes in place. God gave you a job making $100,000 a year because God has already figured your $10,000 towards the building program.